got a soft ball, we're only going to be touching tissue. If you've got 2 balls, it's even better for that release, but we can do it in 2 stages. Okay, so we're going to get started. We're going to start by lying on the floor because we want to feel how our bodies feel, and we feel much more relaxed when we're on the floor because we're not having to work with postural muscles. So our body feels much safer and more relaxed, so we get a better idea. Come back here, ball. Okay, so we're going to come to lying on the floor, and the only thing I'd like you to do at the start is just lie down. I don't want you to change anything. I don't want you to make any adjustments to your body. I'd like you to just feel how your body is right now. So just taking some nice deep slow breaths here. We're going to be on the floor for most of the session, apart from when we roll over to do the anterior chain. So, okay, so what I'd like you to be aware of, you're going to take some nice focused breaths here, so some nice 3-dimensional breaths. And I'd love you to focus on how your body's feeling, so how far it is off the floor. So I'd like you to just be aware where your head is resting on the floor. Is your head resting so your eyes look over the top of your head? Is your head resting off to one side a little? Are you right in the centre, the back of the head? Can you gaze straight up? Where is your neck? Does your neck feel like it's a really long way away from the floor? Or does it feel like it's quite close to the floor? Do you feel like your shoulders are off the floor? Your shoulders are on the floor? Do you feel like your shoulder blades are on the floor, but the rest of your back is off the floor? Do you feel like your lower kind of lordosis of your spine, so your lower spine, do you feel like that's off the floor or on the floor? Do you actually feel that one side of your body seems more closer to the floor than the other? That's another thing. Then you want to work down, and we're looking to see whether our pelvis is on the floor or off the floor. So checking in with that. Again, with your pelvis, don't change anything because we're going to see what this is like at the end. With your pelvis, I'd like you just to check in and just see whether you feel like your pelvis is anteriorly tilting. Mine definitely is a bit. Or whether you're posteriorly tilting, or whether you've got more weight on one side than the other. And then moving down to your legs. Are your thighs on the floor or off the floor? What about your knees, the backs of your knees, your popliteal? Is it on the floor or off the floor? And what about your calves and your ankles? Do you feel like one leg feels heavier than the other leg, or one leg feels longer than the other leg? And what about your feet? How do they feel? Okay, once we've done that amazing scan of your body all the way down, we're going to start our release work. And we're going to start our release work with a really simple exercise looking at breath as well. So, but before we do that, actually, I've got to remember, we're going to come up, feet hip distance apart, flat on the floor. I'd like you just to take 3 breaths in an apnea and just feel how it feels. You can have your hands around your ribcage, hands by your side. 3 deep, slow breaths and an apnea. So inhale. So slowly widening your ribs. Somebody's not muted. I'm just going to mute. It's all right, I'll come and mute you all. Don't worry. You just concentrate on doing the 3 nice slow breaths in your apnea. Cool. And at the end of your 3rd one, pause and slowly open your ribs. Excellent. Okay, so the first release we're going to look at is a release for our sacrum and for our pelvis. So it's the very first thing we're going to do because it's the thing that tends to hold most of the tension in our bodies. So we're going to do a couple of things here. The first one is where we're going to take the small rolled up shower towel. So you want to roll it up like it's a sausage, and you're going to place it along your body. You're going to lie on the floor. You're going to place it along your body so it's going from your sacrum up towards the lower back in a nice straight line through your butt cheeks. Okay, so it's going underneath. Okay, and some of you have done this before, some of you haven't. So we are going to now shimmy on top of the towel. So we're going to move from side to side across the top of the towel, shimmying our bums. So you feel so the weight is on the towel, and you're moving it from side to side across the towel. Knees are bent, feet are flat on the floor. And we're just getting a little bit of heat into it. You should feel it feels maybe perhaps a little bit warmer. And then we're going to pause. Then we're going to tilt our pelvis back as if we're coming back to 12 o'clock on our clock face. So our lower back comes towards the floor. And then we're going to tilt our pelvis forward so the coccyx comes towards the floor. So we're tilting backwards and forwards across the towel. As you're doing this, I'd like you to take some nice breaths. So you're going to inhale as you tilt the pelvis toward the coccyx towards the towel. You're going to exhale as you tuck your tailbone under. So just some nice deep slow breaths. Inhaling, arching, exhaling, tucking. Inhaling, arching, exhaling, tucking. And if you want to add another exercise in with this one, if you've done the bladder nod exercise before, if you put your fingers just above your pubic bone, as you inhale and arch, you can think about the bladder nodding down, the front of the bladder, and as you exhale and tuck your tailbone under, you can think about the bladder moving up. So you get a little bit of that connection between the two. So inhale, arch, exhale, tuck, and think about that bladder lifting a little. Good. I love it when we tie two exercises together. And then we're going to come to rest in what feels like the centre. Then we're going to take the left side of our pelvis and drop it off the towel. So it's going to allow it to fall off the towel. Then we're going to come back across the centre and allow the right side of the pelvis to fall off the towel. And we're just going to go from side to side. Remember to keep breathing. Always keep breathing, guys, eh? Now we want to get a little bit of extra engagement into our psoas. So we're going to come to rest on top of the towel. Then I'd like you to drop the side that's closest to the screen down towards the floor. That side of your pelvis, whatever that is, closest to the screen. And stretch that leg out. So that side of the pelvis is dropping down lower than the side that's still up. Then we're going to turn our toes out to the sides towards the screen, and we're going to turn them in. So out and in. And this is helping us to just lengthen the psoas and work into the hips and the hip flexors, which are so important that they're mobile for your pelvic floor. We hold so much tension here. Good. And we're going to do another 4, 3, 2, 1. Now bring that leg back up and bring yourself back to the centre. Then drop the side away from the screen off the towel and lengthen the leg. And turn your foot in and out again. And this twisting and turning of the foot in and out is just teasing out a little bit more extension and length and suppleness in the psoas. Good. And we're going to do 4, 3, 2, 1, and bring that leg back up. Now we're going to do a circle with our pelvis, so like the pelvic clock, but on top of the towel. So we're tilting our pelvis back, dropping it off towards 3 o'clock, rolling all the way around to our 6 o'clock when we're arching, then coming all the way back around the clock to 9 o'clock and tilting back to 12 o'clock. So let's do it nice and slowly first, and then find a little bit of fluid motion in it. I've learned that this is a really old Feldenkrais exercise today, so it's quite interesting. And then go the other way, all the way around slowly first, and then find a little bit of fluid movement. Good, and then come back to rest on the centre, and then slide from side to side again, like you're shimmying, like we did at the beginning, side to side. Really feeling that, getting into that sacral tuberous ligament, which is a big ligament in the back, and then taking the towel away, and just for a moment, go back, lengthen your legs, and just see how your body's starting to feel already. Hopefully it's starting to feel nice already. Excellent. Then we're going to take the foam roller, and it's either your foam roller or your long rolled up towel, and you want it rolled up lengthways so it's really nice and long, and we're going to put it underneath our pelvis. I'm actually going to have to take my jumper off, it's got a bit warmer in here. Okay, so we're going to put it underneath our pelvis so that the pelvis is resting on the foam roller. Good. Excellent. Now we want to be able to take one leg up and the other leg up without feeling that we're going to fall off if you're on a foam roller. If you're on a towel, you've got a little bit more leeway. Before we do that, though, I'm going to get you to put your feet back down just for a moment. I'd like you to feel that your shoulders and the back of your ribcage are sinking towards the floor. I'd like you to feel your shoulders are nice and relaxed and not hunching up towards your shoulders. They're just relaxing down onto the floor. We're going to lift one leg up and then the other leg up. And then we're going to just draw the knees in towards our chest. I'd like you to place your hands on your thighs, still keeping the shoulders nice and relaxed and the rib cage towards the floor. I'd like you to just take a nice breath in. And as you exhale, gently press your knees away, keeping your shoulders nice and relaxed and your back on the floor. Good. So now we're slightly tilting away with our pelvis. So our pelvis is slightly tilting backwards. So now I'd like you to take an inhale. And as you exhale, I'd like you to curl your pubic bone up towards your belly button. So you shouldn't be moving. So there should be no movement in the arms, no movement in the legs. We shouldn't feel or see any movement. We're just doing this really subtle, deep movement into the abs. So hands are on your thighs. They're straight and they're lengthened. So the hands are actually physically on the thighs, so they need to be physically on the thighs for this one. Legs are nice and relaxed, so the calves coming towards the back of your thighs. We're going to inhale. As you exhale, I'd like you to feel like you're tucking your tailbone under a little and drawing your pubic bone towards your belly button. And then you're going to inhale, hold it here. And exhale, I'd like you to tilt your pelvis away, but still keep your arms straight and your legs in contact with your hands. So it's just a tiny little subtle movement. It's a tilt in. So inhale. Pubic bone draws towards your belly button. Ribs are sinking towards the floor still. Inhale again. And as you exhale, you want to think about your pelvis tilting away. Yeah, but everything stays still. So there's no movement. So this is a really deep movement. You should feel it in your abdominals rather than your pelvis or anywhere else. So hands are on the thighs, arms are outstretched. We inhale, and as we exhale, I'd like you to tuck your pubic bone towards your navel. Keeping your arms stretched, keeping that tension. And then as you exhale, I'd like you to think about tucking your tailbone away from you. So you're tilting away. Try one more time. It's quite a deep movement. And pubic bone towards your belly button again. Okay, so now taking the hands away, relax your shoulders and your rib cage down. Knees together, feet together. We're going to shift our balance point or our weight over to one side of our pelvis. So I'm shifting towards you guys in the screen. Then from here, I'm going to do little circles. I'm going to imagine there's a pencil sticking out of my knees. And I'm going to do little circles with my pelvis by drawing that pencil on the wall. So on the ceiling, little circles. We're going to do 5 one way and then 5 back the other way. Then we're going to keep the top knees still, so the knee closest to the centre still, and we're just going to do little circles with the bottom knee, the one closest to the floor. 5 one way and 5 the other way. Then we're going to come back to the centre, knees together, feet together, and we're just going to march. I'm going to do about 10 marches. So what this is doing, this is getting into that joint. So there's a hole where there's this the sciatic nerve and femoral and loads of other things go on, obturator and things, and this is getting in there, just creating a little bit of space. Then knees together, feet together, and just hang here and take 2 nice big slow breaths. Really focus on your breathing. Then we're going to roll all the way over to the other side and repeat the same thing on the other side. So imagine that pencil between your knees. You're going to draw big circles with both knees together to start with. 5 one way, and then 5 back the other way. Good. And then we're going to hold the leg in the centre still, closest to the centre still, and we're going to do 5 circles with the bottom leg. Good. One direction and 5 the other direction. Okay. And then we're going to bring them back to the centre. No, stay over to the side and we're going to march. So we're going to do 10 marches over to that side. And just relax your feet. Make sure you're not holding any tension in your feet, your shoulders, your ribs. And then bring them together and just pause and take 2 nice deep slow breaths, thinking about your 3-dimensional breathing. And then come back to the centre, place one foot down and the other foot down, and take the foam roller away. And just for a moment, Right, lengthen your legs again and just be a little bit more aware of how your body's starting to feel. Okay, so now we're going to take the long one that you had and we're going to place it lengthways along our mat. So we're going to lie on it with our sacrum on one side and our head on the other. So all the way along your towel or foam roller, whichever one you have. You're going to come to lying on top of it. Hold on, there's somebody in the weight room while you get organised on it. Okay, so all the way along the foam roller. Okay, so once you're here, all the way along, we are going to just take a moment to breathe. So you can have your hands by your side, or you can have your hands on your ribcage with your elbows on the floor. Just nice and relaxed here. And you're going to take 3 breaths into the sides of your ribcage and then an apnea. So inhaling. So you want to try and make sure your head is supported by something there. Yeah, okay, good, that's better. Thinking about your lateral movement to the sides. And then your apnea. Good. This time I'd like you to do 3 more breaths, and you're going to breathe into the sides of your body and the back of your body. So both sides and back this time. 3 breaths and then your apnea. So yeah, Helen, you need to be much further along. So your bottom needs to be right at the bottom of that foam roller. You want to have your whole spine on it. Yeah, now lie down. There you are. Okay, so for the 3rd set of breathing, I'd like you to think about breathing into the sides of your ribcage and the back of your ribcage. But I'd also like you to take one hand on your upper chest and one hand on your lower abdominals. So as we inhale, I'd like you to think about the air moving, so stretching in 2 directions. So we're inhaling into the sides and the back, but at the same time, we're also thinking about the length between the chest and the pubic bone. So we're inhaling, thinking about it moving like this, and we're exhaling, thinking about the pubic bone moving up. Okay, are we ready? So pubic bone moves towards the hand on the exhale. Hand and pubic bone move away on the inhale. One more. Then pause and apnea. Good. Then from there, if you're on a roller or a towel, you can try this is called a nervous system reset. All you do is you just allow your body to start falling off to one side, and then you catch it at the last minute. And then you go the other way and let it fall off to one side and then catch it at the last minute. So you're never actually falling. So you're just resetting your body's proprioception. So it's just a nice gentle, allow it to fall and then catch. Allow it to fall and then catch. So you're never actually falling. Good, just do it a couple of times, it doesn't need to be done much. Then take the foam roller away again. Lie down with your legs nice and extended. Excellent. And just feel how your body feels now compared with where it was sitting at the beginning of the session. And I'd like you to grab one of your balls. We're going to take this ball and we're going to bend our knees so feet are flat on the floor. And you can use it above your clothes or under your clothes. And if you don't have a ball, you can use your fingers. We're going to start with the left side of our body by our xiphoid process, which is here in the center of our rib cage. Xiphoid process. So if you push hard on that bone, it feels really minging. So don't press really hard on that bone. So from the xiphoid process, you're going to inhale, and as you exhale, you're going to roll the ball underneath your ribs. And what we're doing here is we're starting to play with the pleura, or connective tissue, that hangs out underneath that costal ridge. I was being asked about this today. And we're going to do that a few times on that side. So inhaling, exhaling, rolling the ball underneath the ridge of the ribs. So you're almost trying to get it underneath the ribs if you can. Do it 2 times on that side and then 2 times on the other side. The other side, the gallbladder and pancreas are about halfway down, so you might feel a little bit more tender on the right side than the left. So rolling nice and slowly down. Good. And you're always rolling on the exhale, and the reason for that is that the diaphragm is moving up on the exhale, so you've got all that space to play with. Okay, I need to really have an hour class for all of this stuff because I've got tons to do with you. So, we're going to do 2 more little releases with the balls. The first one, we'll do the first one first, is one that was Alfie was suggesting. So if you've got 2 balls, that's great, and if you don't, we'll do it in 2 stages. So the first stage is this. You take the ball, so we're going to lie prone in a minute. You take the ball and you place it just above your pubic bone. So just above your pubic, so not on the bone, but on the skin and the fascia and connective tissue, just above the pubic bone. This is also where your bladder is, so you're going to be giving a little bit of a fascial release to the bladder too. The bladder tends to be here when it's full, so if you've had a pee before class, it shouldn't even be there. So we're going to lie down on our fronts, and we're going to place the ball at that position just above the pubic bone, and hold yourself up off it a little, and just lower yourself gently into it, because it might feel really tender. And when you're here, eventually you can lie all the way down. You're just going to take 3 nice slow breaths, and you're going to breathe that long way. Remember where we're thinking about breathing into the upper chest or the thoracic area of the sternum and into the pubic bone. So think about that long ways breath. So inhaling sides, back and lengthways. If you want to make this an even more of a stretch exercise, if you've got 2 balls, then you can take another ball. So you've got the first ball is on just above the pubic bone, and the second ball is just below the xiphoid process. So you don't want it pressing into the bone and in between your rib cage here, just below the xiphoid process. So you've got 2 balls, 1 on each end of this anterior chain. And then you do the same thing. So we're going to do 3 breaths. We're going to do some crocodile breathing. So you've got the ball, and you've got, thanks for offering this one. So you're going to do 3 breaths, trying to keep your rib cage as close to the floor as you can. Ooh, I was finding someone deeply disturbing. So be gentle with yourself. Don't press it too hard. If you need a little bit of being held up, use your shoulders and your rib cage. Not your rib cage, your shoulders and your elbows. Take 3 breaths here. And then come off. So that'll probably be enough for you. Okay. So what that one really does is it gets quite deep into that anterior chain, which can feel quite tender. You can do it with 1 ball by placing 1 ball here to start with, and then take it down to the pubic bone, you know, and mix and match them if you want to. Hope you enjoyed that one, Alfie. So we're now going to think about our armpits, because underneath our armpits here, we can hold quite a lot of tension. So we're going to take our ball. I'll do a coloured ball that you can see a bit better. You're going to take your ball and you're going to place it underneath your armpit. We can do this sitting down, so it's quite good. And then you're going to take, if you've got 2 balls, you can put the other one underneath the other armpit. But if you don't, we're going to swap. Otherwise, you're going to do 2 rounds with 1 underneath the armpit. I'll do 1 with everybody else. So we're going to inhale. And as we exhale, we're going to inhale and allow the ball to just release a little, keeping it in place. And as we exhale, we're just going to squeeze it down towards our hips a little bit. Okay? Ready to inhale. 3 breaths. Release. 2, 3, squeeze. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release. 2, 3, squeeze. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. In, 2, 3, squeeze. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Close your mouth and nose. Pause. Widen your ribs for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale here. Exhale, swap it to the other side. Same thing on the other side. And if you've got 2 and you've got 1 underneath each arm, just do this whole set again. So inhaling, release. In, 2, 3, squeeze. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. In, 2, 3, squeeze. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. In, 2, 3, squeeze. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Close your mouth and nose. Pause. Widen your ribs for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale here. Exhale, take the balls away. Come back to lying on your back on the floor. Didn't get to the neck tonight, but everything else should have released our necks anyway. And I'd just like you to take a scan. So you're just going to see how your body feels now compared with how it felt at the start. So you're looking to see whether your pelvis feels more neutral, your shoulders feel closer to the floor, whether your head feels more balanced on top of your shoulders, whether you feel that your thighs are maybe closer towards the floor, maybe you just feel a bit flatter. I just feel a bit flatter. You know, that could be the thing. And once you've taken that moment to scan, bend your knees when you're ready, feet flat on the floor, and you're going to do your 3 nice slow breaths and just see if you feel any easier with your apnea than you did at the beginning. So 3 deep slow breaths, or 3 deep breaths. Sides, back, up and down. And on your third one, you're going to close your mouth and nose, pause, and slowly widen your ribs.